development and use of scientific methods in setting work standards. Division of work in the sense you are giving the same work to the person and he should do it for months together. Now what happens is he'll get specialized in that particular work. The more you are paying the employees or the laborers, what happens is they get emotionally attached and they become loyal and they work for the betterment of the company. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I'm Abhilash Chandra from the Department of Commerce and Management in Vidyashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence. Welcome to the second session of HRM 1. Now here I'll be explaining you about the remaining eras of human resource management. We already learned about the trade union era and the social responsibility eras. Now the next one here we have is scientific management era. The minute we go with scientific management, you are supposed to understand there is a pioneer of scientific management. We call him as F.W. Taylor, Frederick Winslow Taylor. Frederick Winslow. See, understand, you can remember his name as well. That is Winslow Taylor. Now, every time when we go with F.W. Taylor, you are supposed to understand that Taylor is the father of scientific management. And to accept or to know that scientific management, people actually did so much research about scientific management, but none could succeed except F.W. Taylor. The concept of scientific management was introduced by Frederick Winslow Taylor in the USA early in the 20th century, an alternative to the prevailing system of management by initiative and incentives. That is, the employees should always have one urge of getting more money. So how exactly to get more money? You're supposed to work more and then you will get more. He's a person who introduced something called piece wage rate system. When I say piece wage rate system, you need to know that the employees or the laborers, whoever works according to the units, that is, the more they produce, the more they actually earn. That is what F.W. Taylor initiative was. And he said there should be something called science but not rule of thumb. That is, everywhere whenever you go for management, you are supposed to have the facts, and to achieve those facts, you are supposed to research more. You're not supposed to just go with intuitions or a blank belief and then do it. You're supposed to always go with statistics. You should go with cause and effect. Code of conduct should be there. All these universally accepted principles, you are supposed to use it. Unless you don't make a productivity, you are supposed to stick on with the scientific courses, not the intuitions. F.W. Taylor, what exactly he says is it is based on his shop floor job experience. Please understand, shop floor job experience. Taylor developed 4 principles of scientific management. That is, first one is development and use of scientific methods in setting work standards. So you should always have a standard. Now, employees need to meet those standards. That is, the actual performance should be more than the standard performance. That is what F.W. Taylor says. Then he also says that there should be a determining a fair day's work. That is, everything should be what? It should suit the human being and human behavior. And what he says is the best way of getting any work done is what? To do the work, that is doing the work. So unless the employees feel of working together, working for the prosperity, working for remuneration, you will not achieve success. Scientific selection and placement of workers best suited for the perform the various tasks and provision of their training and development for maximum efficiency. So he also says that you are supposed to give chance to the people who are specialized in that particular field. You are supposed to identify those people and you should know what are their strengths and what are their weakness, and then you are supposed to place them in their strength performance platforms rather than platform where they cannot perform. And he also says that you are supposed to give them more training and development so that the efficiency and the efficacy will actually increase. That is what F.W. Taylor says. Here you need to understand that F.W. Taylor is only aiming for one thing, that is called productivity. And next thing what he says is human beings should always be placed in a proper way, and a best way is what of getting the things done. That means you are supposed to be a taskmaster is what F.W. Taylor says. Third is clear-cut division of work. That means there should be a proper division of work and responsibility between management and workers. So both the ways he's saying that you should go with a proper division of work. Now what exactly division of work is? Division of work in the sense you are giving the same work to the person and he should do it for months together. Now what happens is he'll get specialized in that particular work because he's doing it regularly, and later what happens is he'll be a specialist in that particular field. And then he also says that there should be what? Responsibility between management and worker. That means employer and the employee relationship should be maintained. Now what the employee wants is what the employer should give. In the meanwhile, what the employer wants from the employee should also get it done. So it's both the way there is a collective bargaining. And next is harmonious relationships and close cooperation with workers to secure performance of work in accordance with the planned jobs and tasks. There should be harmonious effect and everybody should work together for the achievement of goal. So here what happens is he always says that if there is harmony and not discord, then things can happen very smoothly. And he also says that there should be a development of each and every person to his or her greatest efficiency. Now what exactly all these things are? He is a team player. That's the reason he also says that there should be cooperation and not individualism. So F.W. Taylor, being a genius, he always says that there should be what? The employer and the employee relation should be maintained. The employee should always go for initiative so that they can earn more. Next we have important techniques. Now what are the important techniques which F.W. Taylor says is? The first one is time study. Now to understand this time study, to analyze that, the measure the time taken is doing the various elements of the job and standardize the operation of a job. So the first thing is time study. What time you are taking to accomplish one task. And later what happens is you are supposed to minimize the consumption of time and produce more units. Next is motion study. Now here what happens is it involves close observation of the movements required to perform a job with a view to eliminate wasteful motion. That is, whatever is a wasteful motion, you are supposed to eliminate it. That is how you are supposed to get the motion study and decide on the best way of doing the job. So unnecessary, you are not supposed to waste those things. That is what he always says. So first one is time study. That means at what particular time you are supposed to accomplish the work. Next is motion study. Unwanted motions or wasteful motions should be removed from this. That is what he says. Next is standardization of tools. That is, you should always have better tools so that the working condition is very, very easy. There is a saying that if you want to chop a tree, right, you are supposed to sharpen the axis for more than an hour. The reason is the more the sharpen the tools are, then you can actually cut those tree very, very fast. But let me tell you, you are not supposed to cut trees. You are not supposed to deforest all the things, right? Next is incentives wage plan. That is, here this is what he always mentioned, that is there should be a proper incentive wage plans. When he goes with wage plan, what it is, the more you are paying the employees or the laborers, what happens is they get emotionally attached and they become loyal and they work for the betterment of the company. But there are few people, the more and more you pay also, they will not be attached. That is a time which you are supposed to understand what is the next course of action which you are supposed to get the things done from them. Incentive wage plan with differential piece rate of wages for efficient and inefficient workmen. So when you go with here efficient or inefficient, what happens is the more and more these people are working, the thing is, if say example the person who works 2000 units in a day, right, he manufactured 2000 units in a day, and there is a person who goes with 500 units in a day. Now both of them, the wages or the salary should not be the same. It should not be same. It should not be same. See, this is what it is, what F.W. Taylor always says. Next, here if you understand this era, you will understand better, that is human relation era. By 1920, please understand this, by 1920 it was felt that earlier approach of human resource management were incomplete, as these did not recognize workers as human beings, having their feelings, attitudes and needs. It was between 1925 and 1935. Many experts expressed their opinion towards human aspect of organizational activity. That means humans were not treated properly. The human laborers are not treated properly. See, human resource management, the coining was done in 1980s, but before that we had something called personal management or manpower planning. A psychologist, namely Hugo Monserberg, in his book Psychology and Industrial Efficiency, suggested the use of psychology in the selection, placement, testing and training of employees in an organization. And please understand, Hilton Mayo, please remember this name, Hilton Mayo. Hilton Mayo. Now, Hilton Mayo is a person who was considered as the father of human resource management, and his associates conducted a series of experiments from 1924 to 1932 at the Hawthorne plant. There is a place called Hawthorne plant. Students, Hawthorne plant experiment or Hawthorne experiment is very, very important for a HR student. What exactly it is, I'll be telling you in the next session, of the Western Electric company in the USA. Now here what happened is, the Hawthorne experiment, they went and they conducted an experiment where they selected 20 people to the part A and 20 people for the part B. Now what happened with the part A and part B is, they started to give the conditions for those people, that is how the conditions should be. Now part A got a different type of environment and part B got different type of environment. I'll tell you what are the findings they actually took. The Hawthorne experiment findings are classified into these things. The first one is, physical environment at the workplace do not have any material impact on the efficiency of work. That means they got to know that the way the climate and the environment was set up was totally different from part A to part B, and they got to know. Second thing is, favorable attitudes of workers and work team towards their work were more important factor determining efficiency. That means what? Here, whatever you give the physical ambience, it is not, it will not make any difference. But here, what happens is, you have a favorable attitude of workers, then the work team will be there. Then definitely, it's an impact here. Next is, fulfillment of workers' social and psychological needs had a beneficial impact on the morale and efficiency of workmen. So here what happens is, if you go with fulfillment of workers' social and psychological needs, now social needs and psychological needs, then definitely they'll definitely work better, and prosperity will be there among them. And one more is, productivity will be more. Employees group based on social interaction and common interest exercise a strong influence on workers' performance. And lastly, workers cannot be motivated solely by economic rewards. So only by the incentives or getting more money, they'll not be motivated. More important motivators are job security. If you tell them that you will be there for 3 years, now the job security will be there and he will work more. You should not create pressure. You are supposed to release those pressure. Recognition, you are supposed to recognize them, reward them, appreciate them. These are the things which they'll get more motivated. Right to express their opinion on matters related to them. Now here, when you go with only one side of talking, what happens is they'll not get motivated. You are supposed to go with the twin side, that is, you should also get suggestions from the employees. When you get all these things, then the employees will work efficient, and what happens here is there will be a bonding between the employer and the employee with the company and the organization. So these were the findings of Hawthorne experiment. Students, if you have any doubt regarding this session, please do call us. We are always there to help you. Thank you so much. We have done Hawthorne experiment, and then I told you about Helton Mayo. Helton Mayo is considered as the father of human resource management, and he conducted several experiments in 1924 to 1932. And what exactly he went through is, it's not just the money or it's not just the physical ambience which will motivate a person. It is like holistic, where he should be recognized, he should get a job security, and he should always go with a favorable team. Then what happens is he will also work more and the company will get more productivity. Thank you so much, and I'll see you when I see you.